I got a comment on yesterday's video that I wanted to talk about just a little bit. We'll get into that here in just a moment. Hello everyone, Semi-Retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. I'm also inviting you along on my journey as I head down to Texas to start my off-grid homestead. It's a beautiful morning in Omaha, Nebraska. It's about 64 degrees out right now, but as you can see, the sun is out shining brightly, so it should be a fairly nice day today. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm glad you're here. Thanks for stopping by. What you're watching is you're watching me walk. I know this doesn't seem super exciting, but when you consider the fact that 2.5 years ago I couldn't do this. I could barely stand for a couple minutes without severe pain. Now I'm out here walking every day. It starts to get a bit more interesting. If you're returning to the channel, welcome back. It means a lot that you spend just a few moments of your day with me. I would like to ask y'all to help me out. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. Drop down in the comments and say, "Hi, Bob." And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. All these things help get the word out that it's never too late to change your life. I'm 61 years old, and I'm doing things I couldn't do when I was 40, like being out here walking every day. As you can tell, I'm going up that first hill that I try to walk faster up. If you're adding a new exercise to your program, be sure and do it slowly so you don't hurt yourself. I'll pick up the pace a little more. But yeah, a comment that I had, he said, or she, I don't remember if it was a he or a she, sorry, but they were talking about being from different worlds. Yes, I enjoy just as much as the next guy watching some of these big carnivore influencers throw a $50 steak onto a $2,000 smoker just as much as the next guy. But I can't afford that. As I've said many times on this channel, if I was to eat like that and say that's the only way I'm going to eat, then I would only get to eat 3 or 4 days a month. And I'd have to fast the rest of the time. We're almost to the top here. The fact that I can talk a little bit while I walk up the hill that fast is a good testament that I am getting a little better. I'm slowly improving. But like I was talking about today's topic, that's one of the things that I try to show you through this channel, is that is eating like that better than the way I eat? Probably so, but I'm here to show you that you really can make progress and live a healthy life on the cheap stuff, the Walmart ground beef and eggs. That's probably 90 to 95% of what I eat. I did just have a roast a couple of days ago, and I think I've got one pork roast in the freezer and a bag of chicken thighs down in the bottom of the freezer. But for the most part, I eat ground beef and eggs. And it's not the expensive grass-finished ground beef. It's just the cheapest stuff you can get in the 10-pound tubes. Depending on the week, it's either 80-20 or the 73-27. But it's just the cheapest ground beef you can get. And it's the cheapest factory eggs that you can get at a place like Walmart. Is it ideal? Probably not. But it's still better than anything you can pick up in the middle of the grocery store. I've talked about this before. I'll go over it again really quick. The gold medal food. I stole this from Dr. Chafee. The gold medal food, grass finished beef and pasture raised eggs. Free range pasture raised, whatever. There's so many different goofy terms for eggs these days. But chickens that have been out running around the yard are the best eggs. That's the gold medal food. Gold medal is better than anything else. The silver medal food. The grain finished beef, the cheap ground beef that I eat, the factory eggs, all that kind of stuff. And I actually kind of like the cheaper ground beef. As long as it says 100% beef, which it always does when I buy one of those chubs, it doesn't necessarily mean 100% muscle meat ground up, but it is 100% cow parts. So in the cheaper ground beefs, you're probably getting a little organ meat that they throw in for filler. And it comes from a cow, which is why they can put 100% beef on the label. Because you can believe, with our Sue Happy society, that if there wasn't 100% beef in there, somebody's going to take it home and run a chemical test on it and say, hey, I found this thing that's not from a cow in this ground beef that you had labeled as 100% beef. That would happen really quick. And it would be all over the news, and the person that discovered it would file a lawsuit. We're going back by the house here. I'm just not quite done talking yet. So it may not be great, but as long as it's 100% beef, you'll be all right. I'm living proof of that. And then, of course, the bronze medal foods. Deli meats, Spam, hot dogs, bologna. As long as you get the lowest carb count stuff you can get, if that's what you can afford, then by all means, that's what you should eat. Because the prices were a lot different back when I first started. And I lost my first 50 or 60, maybe even 70 pounds on a diet of deli meat, deli cheeses, Spam, potted meat, Vienna sausages, all those things. The bottom line, as Dr. Barry says many, many times throughout the course of his videos, eat what you can afford. And having seen some of the prices on Spam and potted meat and the deli counter meats, I think the silver medal food, the cheap ground beef, and the store-bought eggs are probably the most economical way to do this diet right now. That may change in the future, and I'll have to reevaluate at that time. But for now, for the last year plus, it's definitely the cheapest way. You don't have to break the bank to be a carnivore. If you figure, on average, I eat about 1.5 pounds of ground beef, which at $3 a pound, that's $4.50. And then anywhere from 6 to 8 eggs on average. Eggs being, well, I was paying 10 cents a piece for them, but now they're expensive. They're like 21 cents each. But it's still, 10 eggs is another $2, roughly. So I'm still getting by for $6.50 a day, which is basically the cost of a coffee drink at one of those coffee places. And you certainly can't eat for $6.50 a day at any fast food restaurant. So I don't think carnivore is really that expensive if you compare it to everything else. And we're not even going to get into all the money I'm saving every month by not having to take all those drugs. But yeah, hopefully this was a little bit of food for thought for you. Hopefully most of what I said today made sense. That's what I've got for you today, folks. Don't forget, get out there, be 1% better. Today, tomorrow, every day. Have a great day, folks. I'll see you in the next one.